organization. So I want to wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you for your very kind attention. As he himself in English now, in Portuguese, and French. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Excellency, President of the Commission. The Community Parliament is grateful to you for honoring its invitation, and thank you also profusely for your message, and hope that the good relations established between the community institutions will continue in the interest of the population of the sub-region. Thank you again. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, and have a successful meeting.
Thank you very much. We will now move to messages from outgoing MPs. Honorable members, dear colleagues, the oath taken by new MPs of the Malian delegation marks the end of the mandate of the former MPs who have not been re-elected. Such a situation leaves us to mixed feelings, feeling of joy to welcome new colleagues, yet feelings of sadness to part company with our old colleagues. As usual, I am going to give the floor to our outgoing colleagues to say goodbye to us. I will start with Honorable Musa Badiaga.
Bonjour, Monsieur le Président.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, dear colleagues. Good morning to Honorable Musa Badiaga, former chair of the delegation, of the Malian delegation to Ghana, that I take the floor today to congratulate you, to thank you for your leadership, in this community. Let me seize this opportunity to congratulate the new members of Parliament success, and we that are old members that have served at the ECOWAS Parliament. We are very proud to have able to work with our colleagues for the past 10 years. We've had a lot of friendship and
délocalisés, nous serons là, nous pouvons vous appuyer et nous félicitons vraiment le président de la commission, M. Brou.
We had meeting, delocalized meeting. When you come to our countries on delocalized meeting, we go to support you. We also want to thank the Commission President doing the country. We hope there is going to be really close collaboration with all the institutions, with all the institutions of the community, so that we can all serve with relevance and efficacy our community. In terms of the speaker, I've congratulated all the colleagues joining you, especially the Malians. We in Mali, we have been honored to because we were even the first to be speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament. We want to congratulate the Parliament in view of the events that took place in our country since 2012. The Parliament has left no stone unturned to support us. You supported us too much, and the Malian delegation in this crisis, and we hope to continue to have your support in the days ahead. So we want to thank the ECOWAS Parliament for what you're doing. We hope that the new members would also get the same support. Mr. Speaker, I feel very emotional. I want to thank you, congratulate you. I want to particularly thank all the administration headed by the Secretary General. On the oath delegation, we please forgive any shortcomings during the went amiss whilst we were there. We hope to be able to serve faithfully. Well, for some, they will be coming back, but whatever it is, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Merci beaucoup, Honorable. I call on the Honorable Niambali Fomba to make a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you, dear colleagues. Let me just be sworn in. I hope them success in their new assignments. I'd like to thank all members of the ECOWAS Parliament and the administration for the support that we enjoyed during our mandates. No sound from the Honorable. The interpreter is not receiving any sound from the Honorable. The Honorable's mic is off. We can't hear her in the interpreter booth. The Honorable's mic is off, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable's mic is off, Mr. Speaker.
Assembly help her, please.
We can't hear.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was saying earlier on
Des délégations, je n'ai pas grand-chose à dire.
that after the head of delegation has spoken, I don't have much to say. I can only say congratulations to the honorable MPs that have been chosen by Mali to represent us. I wish them success in their new assignments. I also want to thank all the colleagues who have supported us, during our stay in the Parliament. We want to thank the parliamentary service, all those who have directly or indirectly supported us in the resolution of Malian issues. I wish that God will continue to support you. These are just a few words that I have. I'm sorry for any shortcomings, any mistakes that I might have made during my stay at the. I wish you good success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. I will now call on Honorable Modibo Sisi.
Modibo.
You can go ahead.
Ok. Modibo n'est pas en ligne pour le moment. Il a des problèmes de connexion.
Modibo is not online right now. He has
so we'll
connection
move to-
issues. He said I should speak for him.
Okay.
He's not online right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Honorable. Honorable Badiaga, go ahead.
Voilà, il est en ligne, il a des problèmes de connexion, quoi. Donc,
Well, as I've said, he has connection issues. He can't be online. He has asked me to congratulate the incoming members of Parliament and to congratulate everyone. He's sorry as well if he made any mistakes or there was any shortcomings on his part whilst he was in Parliament. He also takes on board what I have said and what Mrs. Fatumata has said. He wants to congratulate the Speaker, the President of the ECOWAS Commission and his staff. He's thanking the support staff, the technical staff headed by the Speaker, and all those who have supported our delegation for all these years. He also wants to thank the Parliament for supporting Mali during this crisis. This support even continues. He does hope that the Parliament will continue to support Mali so as to sort out this recurrent issue in our country. So hoping to see you one of these days. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Badiaga. I call on Honorable Yusuf Aya.
Allô, Président.
Oh.
Mon frère Président, merci.
Good morning, Speaker.
Oui,
Mr. Speaker, my dear brother Speaker.
Bonjour,
my dear brother Speaker. Everything
Alors,
is okay.
aujourd'hui, c'est un grand jour pour
Good
nous.
morning to you
Et
all.
à la suite de
It's a great day for us today. After Honorable Badiaga and Honorable Nyambali, I also want to thank each and everyone, especially the entire Parliament and all my former colleagues. Well, this is what I'll say. They are now my ex-colleagues, as Honorable Badiaga said. Our sojourn in ECOWAS, it has been a very useful experience, especially for me, through my colleagues and the staff. I suis sûr et certain que ce n'est pas supported me a lot, and I am convinced this is just a temporary withdrawal from ECOWAS. It is not a final things that we have. We hope those things will last forever. Very cordial relations and for Mr. Speaker, I want to probably thank you for your leadership and nine sessions to take place so that we can all follow. We can really say goodbye to everybody. This is life. You meet once and later you step back to allow others to come on board. I want to sincerely congratulate my compatriots who have taken up today. They are up to the task. We know ourselves in Mali.
Dire et défendre aussi les intérêts de leur pays.
We also continue to defend the community wherever we are.
Merci Président et merci à tout le monde.
Hope they will also defend the interests of their country as well. Yeah. I wish you well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy.
Thank you very much, Honorable Aya. We call on Honorable Sako. Is Honorable Sako around?
Bonjour, Monsieur le Président. Dona Sako est souffrante. Elle est vraiment alitée, elle est malade.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. It's indisposed. He won't be able to join us. She has not been able to meet us in the video conference hall. The Honorable is sick and can't be able to join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, honorable members, for your message. ECOWAS Parliament is grateful to you for your dedication to the cause of the ECOWAS community, and wish you good luck in your future endeavors. We hope to see you very, very soon in the field. Honorable members, we will now proceed with our agenda, which number 4, which is the consideration and adoption of a report of the inaugural session of the 5th legislature held in Niamey in the Republic of Nigeria from 9th to 14 March 2020. The draft report of the inaugural session of the 5th legislature of Parliament held in Niamey, Republic of Nigeria in March 2020 was distributed to you by the Secretariat. It is therefore submitted for your approval. Do you have any observations on the draft report of the inaugural session? The floor is open. The IT people, please make sure that honorable members are able to unmute themselves. Any observations on the draft report of the inaugural session? Okay, in the absence of any observation, the draft report of the inaugural session of the 5th legislature is hereby adopted. So we'll move to...
Mr. Speaker, we do have some observations. We do have some observations.
Please. Okay, thank you very much. Can we go back to item number 4, consideration and adoption of a report of the inaugural session held in Niamey in the Republic of Nigeria from 9th to 14th March 2020. Any observations? Any observations?
Bonjour.
Well, go ahead.
Honorable.
Good morning.
Sakandi du Burkina.
Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead, Honorable Sakandi.
Ok, merci. J'ai une série d'observations.
Honorable Sakandi from Burkina Faso.
Ça va me prendre peut-être 5 à 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a set of observations to make. If I want to do that, it will take that we should submit all our observations to the Secretariat. Because observations that we are making are just in terms of format. There is also another part where we're talking about Mustafa Siselo. Particular point where we're talking about Speaker Mustafa Siselo.
Cherche le rapport.
I'm still looking for that part.
What he's wearing there is not looking good. This is official picture. Huh? This is official picture.
Just a minute, Mr. Speaker. I'm trying to look for it.
No.
Je ne sais pas si les collègues ont le rapport sous leurs yeux.
I don't know if colleagues have the reports with them during the inaugural session, saying Speaker Siselo, of the address of Speaker Siselo.
Un mot de bienvenue donc du gouverneur de la région de Niamey.
Rather talk about the intervention. So the the address was the address of the governor of Niamey region.
Le document est en train de s'ouvrir à ce niveau.
And for the speaker, you should rather talk about his intervention. Well, I'm opening the document.
What page are you talking about? What page on the document?
Just make one small graphic. I'll give you the text now.
C'est la page que je suis en train de chercher parce que je suis en train de l'ouvrir.
Just the graphic so that immediately
for the page.
Il y a
La page 3.
let me send you the
la page 3.
let me send it.
It's on page 3. On page 3.
Page 3, okay.
Mr. Speaker.
That's the solidarity message of the outgoing speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, I guess.
That's right.
Le message de solidarité, justement, au lieu de parler de message de solidarité, parce que quand vous parcourez le message.
Instead of talking about solidarity message,
Can I see something, please?
it's not a solidarity message.
Please not. I just remove this thing, then put his picture.
You should just talk about intervention, talking about what is done for Paris.
No, remove it.
No, it is a solidarity message. As far as I'm
I can still write ECOWAS incomplete.
Why not just
I can still write ECOWAS Parliament incomplete.
But Secretary, do you want to comment on that?
Okay.
so that you just.
Mr. Speaker, we are taking note so that we will do the corrections, sir.
Okay.
But if they could refer to paragraphs, because the pages are not the same because of the languages.
Mais quand tu veux ouais. D'accord, mais comme je l'ai dit, je suggérerai donc toutes mes observations.
That's okay. I would suggest that I will transmit all my observations to the secretariat. So if I have to go through the pages, it will take too much time. So meaning that even for others, we should pull all our.
Okay, Nasiru, Honorable Nasiru.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, working on it.
Mr. Speaker, we can't but thank our secretariat, that has really helped us during the inaugural session in Niamey. But on page 8, concerning the Niger delegation, there was an MP that left, that was changed, and its name is still there, Dandadi. Dandadi was replaced by the female MP, Bartu. Anatu. Honorable Anatu was his replacement. On page 17, 74, paragraph 74. Paragraph 74 of the document. Item 74. Your Honorable Sir,
Composition en plénière du comité.
You were the one that mentioned the composition of the committee that you have put up. The committee that you have set up, you were the one that read out that composition to us.
Nigérien qui a été omis ici. Vous avez même dit que il faut qu'il connaisse les tests du Parlement, qu'il connaisse les problèmes du Parlement, qu'il sait là où le Parlement veut aller. Et
and it seems there is a person that was with, and they were the ones that know what the parliament wants to do. I told you that you should make a change because you need an older member who knows the issues. So here, I want to indicate there is no MP from Niger on this list.
Capture those that.
And
now, if I'm posting now, it's better to just put out those of those that.
And even the name that was suggested to you by the deputy speaker is not there.
Well, how about
in addition, on this particular issue,
but did they do the swearing in for the person?
because this is an issue that is very much dear to your heart, sir.
No, not the first person.
The second deputy speaker on the name on behalf of Niger, based on your instruction, met on many occasions with the president of Niger Republic in view of this prevailing situation linked to the coronavirus. It was a mission that you asked him to embark upon. Normally, he was supposed to be supported by a member of the administration to produce a report. I would suggest that you give him the floor so that the deputy speaker can publicly report back to you on what he has done and what the president of Niger Republic must have given him by way of response. And to give you what transpired during that audience with the president. He met with the president on many occasions. According to what he told me, this committee is just a formality. Apparently, the president has already acceded to all you have to give in the floor, so that he can tell us at the plenary, to tell us what transpired between him and the president of Niger Republic. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Nasiru. Thank you, I appreciate that. SG, would you want to make a quick comment?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we would look at the list of the committee, the ad hoc committee that you set up. Each member state was to have a member represented on the committee, with the first deputy speaker chairing. So we were supposed to have 16 members on this committee. So we would go back to the source documents and then indicate appropriately the names of the members who were nominated to serve on the committee. The second point, Mr. Speaker, by your leave, Honorable Ibrahim Yara is now on the platform. He has connected. So when it is appropriate, you may wish to swear him in. Honorable Ibrahim Yara of Mali was not able to take the oath.
We'll do that after the adoption of the...
That's okay, sir. That's okay, sir.
May I hear Honorable Sani?
Honorable Speaker, j'ai une question. Oui, moi.
I have a question, Mr. Speaker. I have a question, Mr. Speaker.
I hear from Honorable Bukari Sani.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
My colleague
Honorable Nasir,
has informed
I've already
you about the fundamentals
explained
of this report,
explained
in particular
what I ought to say on this report, especially
Sawani, who is to be retained on account of his experience
on this list because of his experience and his love for work. Another aspect that I want to raise, it's concerning
the meeting with the
audience,
chairperson of the Authority of Heads of State.
The authority, the
president. As I communicated at the time, Republic, as soon as the borders will be reopened,
told you
when the Parliament delegation will be most welcome in Niger, and he's ready to grant them an audience whenever they are there.
And he will be happy to receive you on
he's
any
ready
day at all.
Accompany us to thrash out all the issues that have been mentioned to him.
Support you on all the points that have been raised.
He's waiting for the lifting of the embargo on travels within the community and worldwide. So, as I had informed earlier, as soon as the borders are reopened, it will be up to you to decide and then compose the delegation that can arrive either night or day. The president has understood our concerns and he's prepared to help us until his last day in office. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Honorable Senator.
Allô? Oui, bonjour, chers collègues. Okay.
Good morning, dear colleagues. I've just seen that I am a member of that committee, so I just want to find out whether you have the specifications or some timetable, how we are going to work, or a schedule of work, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honorable Orlando, did you put your hand up?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Good morning, all colleagues. The Portuguese version of the report, item 38 or paragraph 38, on the list of members from Cape Verde or Cabo Verde, the order is not correct. So if the Secretariat can review, it's different. The Orlando Pereira Diaz, Filomena Fatima Vieira, Filomena Mendes Gonçalves, Humberto, Carlos Delgado e Humberto Ellis. So that is the order of precedence. So we even took our oath according to the resolution from the Cabo Verde Parliament. So paragraph 32, you have to review that order of precedence. Thank you.
Okay, SG, please. Any observation?
Mr. Speaker, we've taken note of that.
Okay, so in the absence of any other observation, the draft report of the inaugural session of the 5th Legislature of Parliament is hereby adopted. Item number 5, presentation and adoption of the report of meeting of standing joint and ad hoc committees. Honorable members, after the opening session and in line with our work program, we proceeded with committee meetings.
Honorable Speaker, someone is calling for the floor about the composition of the ad hoc committee. Honorable Doyle is on the line, please.
Honorable
Le Mali.
Le Mali, celui-là, Ibrahim, il est maintenant ici, mais il n'a pas
Honorable
fait son...
Speaker,
C'est non.
thank you very much for
Oui,
having
il n'était
given
pas
the
là
floor
quand on l'a
about the
fait,
other
il vient de
committee and
la
its composition.
l'autre,
Normally,
il
they are
n'a pas,
composed according to member states. In this case, the first deputy speaker is the chair. I don't see Senegal being represented, so I just want to draw your attention. Thank you.
Ils sont 6. De Mali.
Okay, I'm sure the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The secretary has already commented on that.
Where did you say that one?
The necessary adjustments.
When you said
So I will proceed with item number 5. Honorable members, after the opening of the session and in line with our work program, we proceeded in committee meetings. Please join committees were assist on the various committee texts and the request of the ECOWAS Commission relating to community levy. We are therefore going to consider the reports as well as the resolutions. Please join committees. Agriculture, environment and water resources, community on energy and mines. Science, community, telecommunications and information technology.
Ibrahim va faire.
Abdoulaye
Cissé, il a déjà fait.
Economic research.
Les autres.
Committee on administration, finance and budget.
Donc c'est le seul dont les Maliens, il y a 5.
Committee on agriculture, environment and water resources. Committee on energy and mines. I call the co-chairs of the joint committee, Honorable Nasiru,
yes,
as well as the rapporteurs, Honorable and Honorable Barasa, to present the conclusions of the meeting of the joint committee. The draft directive relating to the harmonized specification of automobile fares in the ECOWAS region, the draft directive relating to harmonization of limits of gas emissions and exhaust particles of light, heavy two-wheel vehicles, bicycles, motorcycles in the ECOWAS region. The draft regulation relating to the adoption of ECOWAS regional strategy for the liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) as domestic cooking energy. The draft regulation adopting the 2020-2026 ECOWAS Environmental Action Plan and the draft regulation. Honorable members, please. You have the floor.
No, it's not a speech. They are deliberating.
My name is Honorable Ogene Ima Igo. I'm the first rapporteur for energy and mines. And I have the report with me, the summary of the report to present. Can I go ahead, Honorable Speaker?
Yes, please.
Thank
yes,
you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, and my fellow MP. The Joint Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, Energy and Mines, consider the following referral documents at this meeting on Monday, 21st July 2020. One, the draft directive relating to the harmonized specifications of motor vehicle fuels, petrol and diesel in the ECOWAS region. The draft directive relating to the harmonization of the limits of gaseous and particle emissions of light and heavy vehicles, two-wheeled vehicles, tricycles, and quadricycles in the ECOWAS region. The draft regulation relating to the adoption of the ECOWAS regional strategy for the popularization of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, as domestic cooking energy. The draft regulation on the adoption of the 2020-2026 ECOWAS Environmental Action Plan And finally, the draft regulation on the adoption of the regional fuel economy roadmap for light-duty vehicles for the ECOWAS region. 2, the meeting, which was held via video conferencing due to the COVID-19, was co-chaired by Honorable Nasiru Halidu and Honorable Musa Badiaga, permit me the spelling, respectively, Chairman of Energy and Mines Committee and Chairman of Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources Committee. 3, the ECOWAS Commission initiator of these referrals was represented at the session by Mr. Joseph Banu, Director of Environment, Mr. Banibe Dabiri, Director of Energy and Mines, Mr. Kofi Bernard, Principal Program Officer, Environment, Mr. Komon Akadios, Program Officer, Petroleum and Gas, and Dr. Dauda Ford, Legal Advisor, and finally, Mr. Abukadi Mabidu, Executive Assistant. Please permit my spelling pronunciation.
I'm connected to
and therefore,
the wireless.
After the welcome remarks by the chairperson of the Joint Committee, the representatives of ECOWAS Commission were given the floor to present the draft committee accounts. A general discussion followed on this presentation on the legal provisions. 5, the various presentations highlighted the objectives of the draft Community Act. The members of the Joint Committee unanimously welcomed the ECOWAS Commission's initiative and welcomed the advent of this draft Committee Act in view of the many challenges inherent with the use of clean energy in ECOWAS region. However, we made some comments on the structure of the text and pressed some concerns. In response to the concerns raised, the ECOWAS Commission envoy provided clarifications. At the end of his work, the Joint Committee on Agriculture, Environment, Natural Resources, Energy and Mines, judging the replies provided by the ECOWAS Commission's envoy to be satisfactory, and convinced of the relevance of the draft submitted, recommends that the Plenary of Parliament deliver a favorable opinion for the adoption by the Council of Ministers and the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the draft directive related to harmonized specification of motor vehicle fuels, petrol and diesel in the ECOWAS region. Draft directives related to the harmonization of the limits of gaseous particles emissions of light and heavy vehicles, two-wheeled vehicles, tricycles, quadricycles in the ECOWAS region. Draft regulation related to the adoption of ECOWAS regional strategy for popularization of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) as domestic cooking energy. Draft regulation on the adoption of the 2020 to 2026 ECOWAS Environmental Action Plan. Then, of course, the draft regulation on the adoption of the Regional Fuel Economy Roadmap for light-duty vehicles in the ECOWAS region. However, attached are the draft resolutions related to the various community acts submitted to plenary for adoption. This is signed by Honorable Nasiru Halidu, Chairman of Committee on Energy and Mines, Honorable Musa Badiga, Chairman of the Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, and Honorable Ibrahim Baba Salim, First Repertoire of the Committee Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, and my humble self, Honorable Ogene Imaigo, First Repertoire of the Committee on Energy and Mines. I'm happy to present this report to you, as the committee have recommended that we adopt these resolutions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the permission to present this to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Any more comments from the committee members, the co-chairs, and co-rapporteurs?
Non, je sais, juste un exercice comme ça. Je suis en train d'envoyer le février. C'est ce que je veux lui donner. Je vais faire ça en français. Oui. Non, je veux que tu regardes ça.
Thank you, co-rapporteurs. Thank you, co-chairs of the Joint Committee. The debate is open, and I invite MPs who wish to intervene to show up by hand so that I can give them the floor.
Madame Diko, the speech of the president n'a pas ça. Il n'a pas envoyé ça.
Come out.
Any observations?
I don't think there was a...
Let me finish this one.
Okay.
On a pris la parole, deux là.
Okay, so in the absence of any observation, the draft report of the Joint Committee on Agriculture, Environment, and Natural Resources, Committee on Energy and Mines is hereby adopted. So we proceed with the consideration of resolutions. Can we have the co-chairs? We have a chance to give us the resolutions. Honorable members, can you please mute yourselves? Can we hear the resolution from our Honorable Ogini? Do you have the resolutions there from this committee?
Honorable Speaker, you would like me to repeat the resolutions again?
Yes, I just want to hear the resolution so that we can adopt it together.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and fellow MPs. There are 5 resolutions. I want to read them again. Draft directive related to the harmonized specification of motor vehicles, petrol and diesel on the ECOWAS sub-region. The second one is the draft directive related to the harmonization of the limits of gaseous particles, emission of light and heavy vehicles, two-wheeled vehicles, tricycles, quadricycles in the ECOWAS sub-region. Draft regulation related to the adoption of the ECOWAS regional strategy for the popularization of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) as domestic cooking energy. draft regulation on the adoption of the 2020 to 2026 ECOWAS Environmental Action Plan. And finally, the fifth one, draft regulation on the adoption of the Regional Fuel Economy Roadmap for the light duty vehicle on the ECOWAS submission. Already, the full explanation before circulated by as a second extraordinary session of the conference. So those are the draft regulations. If there's any question, I can explain.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable members, you've had the report, and now you've heard clearly the 5 resolutions. Any comment for its adoption?
Please. You can say. It's good.
So, assume there are no comments.
You know, sometimes I'm doing something.
Both report and the resolutions are hereby adopted. Committee on Education, Science and Culture, Committee on Telecommunications and Information Technology. Call on the co-chairs of the Joint Committee, Honorable Amy Askin and Honorable Linda, as well as the co-rapporteurs, Honorable Fanny Chantel and Honorable Swani Karimu, to present their report, as well as a subsequent resolution. The Joint Committee will consist of the following documents: regulation to framework and criteria for recognizing the equivalence certificates, regulation relating to support program for research and innovation and its charter, the supplementary acts relating to the ECOWAS operational strategy for space science and technologies. Honorable members, you have the floor.
Je présente maintenant ou c'est le président qui parle avant que je présente?
I present now or the speaker will speak first? Thank you.
Merci à tout le monde.
Thank you, everybody present. The meeting of the Joint Committee, Education, Science, Culture, and Committee Telecommunication, ICT, on the referral to the ECOWAS Parliament for opinion setting regulations. I will present just the summary of what was done, the deliberation. As part of the deliberation of the second extraordinary meeting 2020 of the ECOWAS Parliament, the Joint Committee, Education, Science, and Culture Committee, Telecommunications, ICT, met 22nd, 24 by video conference under the joint chairmanship of Honorable Emi Yassin and Linda Suba Ipeyasu. The objective was to consider the referral from the ECOWAS Commission on the draft text as follows: regulation about the criteria for recognition and equivalencies of certificates, diplomas, regulation on the activity program on research and innovation and its charter and code of ethics, relating to ECOWAS on space science committee ECOWAS Commission was represented by the Commissioner in charge of Education, Science, Culture, Professor Leopoldo Amado, and his advisors. List of members of the Commission that participated in the meeting is contained in the report, and so those who want to verify can check out. And then the recommendation that was made. Following the detailed consideration of the text and in the light of the responses provided by the consensus raised, the Joint Committee, Education, Science and Culture, Committee, Telecommunication, ICT of the ECOWAS Parliament were convinced of the relevance and the Education, Science and Technology that the proposals contained in the referral is in accordance with the objectives and aspirations of the populations of the community also. And so the Joint Commission is favorable for the adoption by the Plenary of the ECOWAS Parliament of the regulation, the criteria and recognition of the equivalencies of certificates and diplomas, and regulation on support to research, innovation, and its code of ethics, the Supplementary Act on the operational strategy of ECOWAS in matters of space science and technology. So proceeding to the, let's say the end of the meeting, the chair expressed their satisfaction about the contributions and to the promotion of growth in the region. So the 3 resolutions are submitted to ECOWAS Parliament for adoption. So I will just go very quickly over the 3 draft resolutions just to save time so that we can rapidly adopt or not. Draft resolution on the Supplementary Act on the adoption of the framework for recognition equivalence of certificates and diplomas in the ECOWAS, July 2020. ECOWAS Parliament, by video conference, during the 2nd extraordinary session 2020, held between 21 to 25 July 2020, in view of the Supplementary Act on the establishment of the ECOWAS Parliament, Article 9 of the Supplementary Act, the references quoted 16, the areas in which parliamentary opinion is compulsory in the process of adoption of acts of the community. In consideration Article 15 of the Supplementary Act, which provides that the Parliament should adopt resolutions for the implementation of its mandate in consideration of Article 60 of the revised treaty, which provides that member states commit themselves to cooperate in the area of human resources in view of decision A bar as quoted concerning the establishment of another committee to determine equivalencies of diplomas and certificates within the ECOWAS region in view of the General Committee is referred concerning the recognition of degrees, diplomas within the ECOWAS, and also in view of on the free movement of persons and their establishment within the community, recalling the vision and action adopted at the World Conference of UNESCO on tertiary education in 2018, which underlines the need to ratify and apply normative instruments or regulatory instruments on certificates, degrees, and other certificates, and mobility within the education system, and also to grant priority to university or tertiary training in Africa. Having in mind the Convention on Recognition of Studies and Certificates, degrees, and other titles within African states adopted by UNESCO in 2014, and then Agenda 2013, and the let's say objectives of type development within the teaching field, and then the common approach in terms of assessment of diplomas so as to strengthen in human resources, and in particular academic mobility and implementation or further protocols, conventions, aware.
Certificats, diplômes, grades et autres titres académiques pour le développement de l'enseignement supérieur et la promotion du développement social et économique dans la région de la CEDEAO, convaincu que la reconnaissance mutuelle des études de diplômes et grades de l'enseignement supérieur stimulera la mobilité des étudiants, des enseignants et des travailleurs dans la communauté, déterminé à assurer et à renforcer les reconnaissances
determined to ensure and to reinforce.
Okay. Go ahead.
Determined to ensure and to strengthen the recognitions of studies, certificates, diplomas, degrees, and other academic qualifications in higher education and the management of quality by regional organization, desirous of implementing a framework made to facilitate the evaluation of degrees presented to the assessors of degrees in higher institutions and employers in the member states, mindful of the report of the Joint Committee on Education, Science and Culture, Telecommunication and Information Technology, deliberated and adopted during its meeting on 24th July 2020, the following resolution. Article 1 gives a favorable opinion for the adoption of the draft supplementary act on the adoption of a framework for the recognition and equivalence of degrees in the region. Urges the Speaker to transmit this resolution to the President of the ECOWAS Commission done via video conference on 23rd July 2020. This is for the resolution of our committee that is on the issue relating to equivalence of certificates. It's a bit long. If, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, maybe I should summarize the two other remaining ones so that we can make progress.
We will actually prefer, you already sent reports. I'm sure all honorable members have their reports. So if you can just summarize it, it will be better for us. Just summarize it, please.
Okay. Donc,
well noted, Mr. Speaker. The draft resolution to regards to on the operational strategy of ECOWAS probably you should make your observations on that, and then so that we can make adequate progress.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead with your report.
Okay.
Just make sure you just give us a summary of your report. And
D'accord.
Take your time. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Alors, maintenant, concernant le projet de résolution.
Now, the draft resolution on the supplementary act relating to the operational strategy of ECOWAS in terms of science and space technology. The ECOWAS Parliament, during its extraordinary session in 2020 that took place on the 21st, 25th, considering that the region, the West African region, as countries that could do space technology, but they are now active consumers of space products. And this leads to capital flight. We know that the development of space technology should require sub-regional, continental, and international cooperation, considering that the implementation of the UNISDAR it's important. UNISPIDER rather is important to be able to do disaster management and emergency response. And programs for disaster management and emergency response in the ECOWAS region. This is an important form of cooperation with the international community, convinced that the success recorded and the growth we have gotten through integration of the region, through the free movement of persons, of investment, security, and management of disasters. And we believe that having an institutional framework that is well coordinated in science and space technology will help for us to be able to manage and coordinate the civilian use of space technology for the development of the sub-region in a sustainable manner. And in view of the report of the committee on our committee, we hope to support the effort of the community in adopting operational strategy for the implementation of science and space technology, deliberated and adopted the resolution, the following resolution. Article 1 gives a favorable opinion for the adoption of the draft regulation on the adoption of implementation operational strategy for science and space technology, and urges the Speaker to transmit this resolution to the President of the ECOWAS Commission, done in Abuja. Finally, the last one I'm going to read. In view of the report of the to support the community in adopting a support program for innovation and research, deliberated and adopted the following resolution. Article 1 gives a favorable opinion to the adoption of the draft regulation, that is support program for innovation and research, called PARI. That is Article 2 urges the Speaker to transmit this resolution to the President of the Commission, done on the 24th of July 2020 by the plenary. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you once again for listening, taking up your time to listen to us. Since this is...
Je serai beaucoup plus concis. Merci beaucoup.
Later? Oh, yeah, still on this.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chantal. Thank you, co-rapporteurs. Thank you, co-chairs of the Joint Committee. The debate is open. Any observations, any comments on the report and the resolution?
Monsieur le Président. Allô, ok. Oui. Je ne sais pas si le Président a pu... Monsieur vous voulez prendre la parole?
Oui, je
vous n'avez pas levé votre main.
Je l'ai levé. Monsieur le Président.
Oui.
Monsieur le Président.
Oui.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Encore une fois, toutes mes félicitations. Je vous exprime naturellement cette joie de retrouver. Alors, à la suite, je voudrais d'abord m'excuser parce que tout à l'heure, j'ai eu une interruption de la connexion. Donc, c'est pourquoi, quand vous m'avez interpellé, je n'étais pas... Mais je peux me féliciter de la concision avec laquelle Madame Chantal, l'honorable Chantal, a fait le compte rendu de nos travaux.
Where are the interpreters? The interpreters.
The interpreters are here, sir. The interpreters are here, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, but
Can you hear
me? Is saying something.
Yeah, let him take it again. It was, I couldn't on mute. Yes. Can you take it all over again?
Can you start again?
I was saying, either to Mr. Speaker, I have a lot of pleasure in joining you again. And I'm happy with the report that has been read by Honorable Chantal. And I want to thank once again all the members of the committee for the good work they've done. I just want to say that I have a few formatting issues on this report. The remaining part is good as far as I'm concerned. Well, I need to do some corrections that could be made. Honorable Sama was raised his hand. We'll talk about such issues. There are some observations on the format of the report, but in terms of substance, let me thank the rapporteurs for a job well done. I want to say that I personally like the work that's been done. And as a co-chair, I'd like to urge the plenary to really adopt our resolution if you don't see any problem with that. So I'd like to thank you, since I am a co-chair of this committee. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. May I hear Honorable Swani?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a comment with regards to the 3 resolutions. In Article 1, I believe we did not receive the last version. There is a correction in the first article, and I believe everything should be. You gave a favorable opinion.
Ça a été fait dans le rapport.
Well, this was done in the report. Well, probably we didn't get the final report. Article 1. Well, there's what on the give a favorable opinion on, so that it's a grammatical error really. Give a favorable opinion on. The French version of it has to be amended. Thank you, Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable. The Secretariat will take care of those minor errors.
Yeah.
Honorable.
Yes, sir.
Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, I have an observation.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, please.
Good morning to all of you. Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Talking about the resolution, where we talk about PARI Article 1, that is the one relating to research and innovation. Well, I think they also put a program in the brackets. So program should be expunged because the P in PARI stands for program. So in the bracket, in the French version, you should expunge the word program because P in PARI stands for program. And then PARI should be in capital as it is in the. So before PARI, they put program. So the P in PARI stands for program. So I'm suggesting that program should be expunged or removed from that bracket. Let me come back, Mr. Speaker. What he said is right. I have an observation on page 2. It is the same document. That is the one on research and innovation. And then they should expunge the second considering also the need to establish good practices and all that. That should be expunged. I believe that the Speaker must have noted that. Considering also should be expunged from the resolution.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, we have taken note of that. In fact, during the consideration stage, we took good note of these points, and then we'll reflect the corrections, sir.
Dans le
We're taking good note of them, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me hear from Honorable.
Je peux?
No.
Can I, Mr. Speaker? Can I speak, sir?
Honorable Sakande. Honorable Sakande. Honorable Sakande, you want to say something? Okay, let's hear from Honorable Singh.
Voilà, merci, Président. Je crois que...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honorables did not receive the last version of the resolution. Well, in the last version that I have, they've taken into account that observation. So program was removed from Paris. So Paris was put in capital letters. They are in capital letters. And the last paragraph, considering also, it was also expunged as it was being suggested by members of our committee. This is the clarification I want to make. Okay, and I know that the Secretary will take care of the rest.
Thank you very much.
We will make sure that the last versions will be forwarded to them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Honorable Abel. Honorable Abel.
Honorable Sakande souhaite prendre la parole.
Oh, I see Sakande back.
Yes.
Okay, Honorable Sakande, you can go ahead. After that, Honorable Abel.
D'accord. Merci, Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In any case, in all resolutions concerning, you say convinced, the part relating to convinced, desirous, who is it being addressed to? At the end, you said the plenary. If it is the plenary, we should say conscious of the needs and convinced with E, in view of the French grammar. If you are talking about MPs, there should be S at conscious in the French version to mean plural. And now say desirous, as is in all resolutions. So those who are drafting this report should tell us which organ is it directed at, so that they make the normal formatting correction, as it were.
Okay. Thank you very much. May I hear from Honorable Abel? Honorable Abel.
Et je suis tout son public là.
Je pense correctement. 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 Connaissons la main. Non. Check.
Tu vois, on ne peut pas raconter des conneries. Hein.
Honorable Abel, je veux.
C'est lui qui a corrigé.
You need to unmute, please.
Bruce. Please. Okay, I think I understand. But still, I think I understand.
Well, can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Can you
Yeah.
hear me now, Mr. Speaker? Yes.
Let him start again.
I'm hearing. Yes, no.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was saying that I had some problems. I'm not in Abidjan. I'm interland, and I followed the report that has been read out by the committee. I want to congratulate the team and the chair and the speaker rather that is helping us to be able to do this session via video conference.
Oh, shit. So if you have seen it, just correct me.
Honorable Chantal pour son compte rendu.
I want to thank Honorable Chantal for her report. I saw that towards the end, there were some invitations on the venue of the meeting. Abuja is mentioned and the date was not mentioned. I would want to suggest that we should agree that they should put the date and the venue of the meeting. Even if it's by video conference, you need to indicate that and put the adequate date. Thank you, Speaker, for the effort you have made. We have problems, but I believe that with time, we've been able to improve things and meet physically soon. Thank you, and I wish you good success in the meeting.
Thank you very much, Honorable Abel. Do we have any more contribution? Anybody, any more observation?
Mr. Speaker, I've been raising my hand.
Okay. Honorable Ba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to join others before me in commending your good self-administration that has facilitated this all-important extraordinary conference. But I also want to thank the committees that have just presented, more so their bureau, for a job well done. I agree with generally all what they did has been a very excellent and fantastic work. I just want to agree with the Secretary General that most of the things we are pointing out now are merely cosmetic, changing to capitals, blah, blah, blah. Those are things that could be handled. And since we are on video conference through Zoom, those that are not too detailed, we should make progress with. But again, I want to thank all those that have participated because it is making life easy, but also moving the sub-region. So we want to thank you for providing the leadership.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ba. I think I agree with Honorable Ba and the Secretary General.
Yes,
most of the observations are really just corrections, cosmetic somehow. So with that, the draft report of the Joint Committee on Education, Science and Culture, Committee on Telecommunications, and the Commission, along with the resolutions, are hereby adopted. We move to Joint Committee on Macroeconomic Policy, Economic Research, Committee on Administration, Finance, and Budget, Committee on Health. I call on the co-chairs of the committee, Honorable Kibabaro and Honorable Suleiman Doi, Honorable Orlando Vieira Diaz, as well as the co-rapporteurs, Honorable Watara Modibo and Honorable Foba Fatima, to present their report as well as the subsequent resolutions. The Joint Committee was seized on the following documents: regulations adopting the ECOWAS Stand 082.2020 on face masks, minimum requirements, testing, making and use, cereal manufacture and artisanal making, regulation regulation adopting the ECOWAS standard, ECOSTAN 083/2020 on hydroalcoholic products and sanitizers testing. You have the floor, honorable members. Do your presentation.
Si moi je voyais jusqu'à 5.
C'est sûr quoi?
Non, si sont mis. Avant de le envoyer 4, hier je l'ai envoyé 1. Oui.
Hier je l'ai envoyé 1 aussi.
Oui, je l'ai envoyé 1. Oui, c'est. Je crois. Oui, à qui on doit donner?
Honorable members, can you please do your presentation? You can unmute. You have to unmute, please.
That's not phone that they talk.
Honorable Doy, Honorable Keba, c'était vous les présidents.
Honorable Ndoy and Honorable Keba, you were the co-chairs. You need to take over.
Okay.
Or should I take the floor? As my predecessor have said, I believe that we should go straight to the comments on the report, and we now move on to the resolution. Honorable Fantado Mali is no longer in the parliament. I will urge you to go ahead, please. Honorable Mojibo. Thank you. Honorable Chair.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Indeed, our committee, our joint committee, we worked in two phases. The first day, we worked on only one issue, that's the referral, by the ECOWAS Commission Parliament on the collection of community levy arrears. The second day, we worked on the two resolutions, that is EcoStand 083 and the other one on 082. One is on hand sanitizers and the other one on face masks. So we have the two resolutions for you.
Honorable, let me just come in. If you, maybe you can just take us through the two and then the community levy so that we can put everything together. Would you want to do that way, or you would deal with this one and then come to the community levy? Would you want to do it separately?
Je suggérais.
Well, I would suggest that we consider the first one on community levy separately, and the second report and the two resolutions should be combined. That's my suggestion, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so let us deal with the two resolutions, please, as indicated.
Bon, je peux y aller avec.
Well, can I go ahead? Now, this is the report on community levy. Thank you very much.
You want to start with the community levy? Okay. Well, I need to introduce this community levy, the consideration of the request from the President of the ECOWAS Commission for the assistance of Parliament in the implementation of the ECOWAS Protocol on the community levy. I recall that Parliament has been seized on a request from the President of the ECOWAS Commission for our contribution in the implementation of the ECOWAS Protocol, the community levy. So the committee, Honorable Bodo, you can go ahead. Go ahead, please. After that introduction.
Est-ce que vous avez le rapport en ligne à l'écran?
Do you have the report on the screen? Is the report on the screen?
No, I don't have it on the screen.
If you have the report on the screen,
just go ahead. Just go ahead.
I will
just go
start
ahead.
reading.
Just go ahead.
Thank you. This is a report of the Joint Committee Administration Finance, Macroeconomic Policy, Committee on Health and Social Services. There's a report on the consideration of the letter of the ECOWAS Commission President on the community levy collection. Through the letter number 0120 of 2020, the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency, Mr. Jean-Claude Kassigo, referred a letter to Honorable C.D. Tunis requesting for the assistance of Parliament with regards to the implementation of the protocol on community levy. This issue was referred to the committee and as decided by the Bureau of Parliament on 20th of July, so that parliamentarians will be well informed on the importance of community levy for the funding of the overall budget of the community, and to enable parliamentarians to see the best ways of improving the effective collection of community levies in the region. The meeting that took place from 20th to 24th saw the participation of the members of the Joint Committee under the leadership of the 3 co-chairs. In order to be able to get these products in entirety, this was presented by the Department of Finance of ECOWAS Commission in front of parliamentarians. In this paper, Protocol AP196, adopted on the 27th of July 1996, defined the conditions for implementing this in line with the revised treaty that instituted it. Article 7 of the treaty.
La valeur de toute marchandise importée des pays tiers, à l'exception des aides, des dons, des subventions et des produits originaires du pays tiers importés. Dans le cadre des financements accordés.
As part of the funding granted by foreign partners, this is exempted. The community levy is the main source of funding of the ECOWAS budget at about 90% of its expenses, despite the provisions and the implementation of monetary mechanisms of its application. That is a management committee of the community levy, technical and high-level committees, as well as meetings of major players. There have been several difficulties since its introduction. The difficulties for the raising of this amount really has a negative impact on the implementation of programs and the visibility of ECOWAS. This situation is explained by several factors. That is the non-application of the protocol or not. And in view of this situation, the ECOWAS Commission, in its letter, has requested the support of the Parliament to act with member states to abide by the provisions of the protocol on community levy in particular. That is extension of the list of items to be taxed, including petroleum products, and then 0.5% on consumption of fuels, and also the payment 30 days after the imposition of the recovery, and measures should be adopted to avoid going through the public treasury. Central banks should implement the modalities of permanent instructions by transferring 90% into the account, and member states should make direct payments
à la Banque centrale sans passer par la NRA
without going through the treasury. Member states should forward in due time or early their collections to update their contributions, and also they should transfer or communicate their contributions to allow the ECOWAS Commission to reconcile. Now, the conclusion of the meeting, considering all the above, the committee accepts the relevance and also is encouraging institutional cooperation. Noted the contribution of community levy in the budget of the community. That's between 70–90% of the resources available. As the situation calls the attention of all MPs and calls for durable actions, the committee has recalled the current situation of member states, especially with the arrival of COVID-19, which has really affected the world economy in terms of budget and incomes. Yeah, at the level of ECOWAS member states, the impact has been felt very seriously because of the reduction in imports, and therefore the insufficient collection, and especially to be able to recover or to retrieve the contributions. The members of the Joint Committee have underlined the urgent need for everyone to participate in the implementation of the instructions. And they have called for the setting up of a committee.
Le suivi de l'application de ce protocole en y intégrant les parlementaires membres du Parlement de la CEDEAO. En ce sens, outre les responsables techniques des institutions, Commission de la CEDEAO, Parlement de la CEDEAO, Cellule nationale CEDEAO, le comité de suivi comportera en son sein les parlementaires membres du Parlement de la CEDEAO. Lors des missions de haut niveau conduites dans les États membres, les parlementaires de la délégation nationale du pays concerné doivent participer au déroulement des dites. Aussi, les membres du Parlement de la CEDEAO ressortissants des États membres doivent-ils utiliser les dispositions du règlement intérieur au niveau national pour interpeller les ministères en charge du PC afin de débattre non seulement des recouvrements, mais surtout de l'application effective du protocole. Ainsi, afin d'agir vite, les membres de la commission mixte demandent au bureau du Parlement d'organiser avec la commission de la CEDEAO.
No English translation, please, Mr. Speaker. No English translation, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry, the mic was off. I'm sorry, the mic was off.
Which of the mics? Because this is a
mine was off. I'm sorry. My microphone had been turned off. I'm sorry. I've just unmuted it. But I think as MPs have the text, I think he can continue.
Okay.
Honorable, go ahead with your report.
Merci, Speaker. Ainsi, afin
So as to act very quickly, members of the Joint Committee are calling on the Parliament Bureau to organize, together with the ECOWAS Commission, a working session to set up a joint committee to monitor the application of the protocol or the provisions of the protocol. This committee will draw up a roadmap that will determine the priority actions to take, the responsibility of each player, and also the objectives to be achieved. Pending the constitution of the committee, members of the committee would like the ECOWAS Commission to make available to the ECOWAS Parliament the detailed situation of the arrears and then the amounts to be collected for each member state. Despite this proposal, the establishment of a committee, sensitization and advocacy commission should be undertaken by all MPs, members of the ECOWAS Parliament within their respective member states. Done 22 July 2020 by the three co-chairs and the three co-rapporteurs.
Thank you very much. Thank you, honorable member. The debate is open. Comments, but I just want to make a clarification on the arrears. I think during the presentation by the director from the commission, on behalf of the Commission of Finance, I think they presented to Parliament a table indicating areas from all the countries in the sub-region. So the debate is open. Yes, Honorable Sakande.
Oui, oui. Merci, Honorable Président.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I just want to make a few comments. Page 2 of the document, paragraph 3, they say the co-chairs, so they should mention their names in the document so that we are aware of those who were the co-chairs in the document. In other words, those who chair the meeting, page 4. Paragraph 13. The negative impacts of COVID-19 on incomes. We can say, for example, it says that the Commission pointed out the current situation of member states as a result of COVID-19, which has really upset the world economy and consequently the incomes. I think we should say that the negative, which has negatively impacted the incomes of states. And then page 6, paragraph 22 states, where it was stated that page 22 to 6, this proposal for the establishment of the committee by all members of the ECOWAS Parliament within their respective member states, that member states, so they should put that in the drafting. I think the French version, probably.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the committee's report, paragraph 18, is, in my opinion, the most important in relation to giving direction what we should do as a parliament. But the English version will require a little bit of amendment. So it says also members of the ECOWAS Parliament who double as nationals of the member states. We don't double as nationals of the member states. We are just members of the ECOWAS Parliament, but we are also nationals of member states. Must use the provisions of the rules of procedure at the national level to challenge the ministries in charge of the community levy in order to discuss not only the recoveries, but especially the effective implementation of the protocol. I will suggest that we should also impose an obligation on national delegations to report back to the ECOWAS Parliament what measures they have taken, so that imposes some level of accountability on us. We need to report back what measures we are taking and give time frame for reporting back.
Thank you very much. Any other? While we wait for any other observation, I really want to support the delegations reporting back to Parliament so that we know clearly what's happening. Honorable Nabi, you want to say something?
Mr. Speaker.
Okay. First Deputy Speaker.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, thank you very much for this opportunity. First, I want to crave the indulgence of our secretariat that they should endeavor at all times give us documents. This will enhance and ease of our function. Mr. Speaker, I concur with what my brother from Ghana said, that we should use the mechanism of those of us in Parliament to ensure what is captured is thoroughly investigated and then report back to the House. I think the investigation should go like this in my own. First is to verify as to whether truly our countries are respecting the account module of having that, our own income as specified by our protocol, separation of the accounts for the imports, levies, and the rest, which constitute part of what is supposed to be received into the coffers of our community. Two, I want to say that there should be small hearing on the various countries to know the extent of what has so far been collected, as to whether the remittance has been truly reflection of what is supposed to come into the community. So I'm suggesting that our various countries should go back and have a joint session with our Ministries of Foreign Affairs, Finance, Custom, and our various central banks to ascertain the authenticity of the various collections and our remittance. And I concur that we should report at the next session. Thank you very much. This is my contribution.
Very good. That's a brilliant contribution from the President and Speaker. And I really hope that the Secretary General, I hope he took note of everything that he said to reflect that on our presentation and submission to the Commission.
Yes, sir. It's well noted.
Honorable Daffy.
Hello?
Okay, Honorable Daffy. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Where? Go ahead.
No, il va terminer une bonne fois. Oui.
Hello? Honorable Nabi?
Allô?
Okay, go ahead. Honorable Daffy.
Allô? Oui, je disais que...
So I was saying, in the text, I have a particular concern where they are asking for us to do everything so that community levy should not be deposited into the public treasury, but should be paid directly into the ECOWAS account at the central bank. Now, for example, the customs goes through the treasury before coming to the central bank. So it's concerned that it will create difficulties for us, because when we go to monitor this at the central bank, I think we may have to find another strategy to ensure that they pay directly into the ECOWAS account instead of going through the treasury.
He translated it.
So that's the problem I think we are going to encounter. And that is why sometimes there is delay in terms of the community levy. I think they apply to all the states. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Abel. Honorable Abel or Honorable Aja Satu? Unmute, you need to unmute to talk. You need to unmute, Aja. Thank you, merci.
Obrigado, Presidente.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to thank the Honorable Speaker and to congratulate our colleagues for this meeting is the ECOWAS Parliament meeting. We want to congratulate also the members and colleagues. We are praying to God that He will preserve us and preserve our continent as well as the whole world. Honorable Speaker, we want to confirm that under the community levy, where shall we find a document that says that from 2017 to date, Guinea-Bissau has not been making its contribution? Well, there may be problems of transfers, so that, for example, at one stage, we went and met with the Minister for Economy and Finance, and then we explained to him the, let's say, need to pay. So we've learned that they paid up to 2019, something like 14,506 million, that is CFAs. It's true, we are still in arrears, and we've spoken about the government, and then the government is promising that they will pay. So we are continuing to pressurize, and we are making every effort to be up to date. It's true we are facing difficulties. As our colleague Sakande has said, the COVID-19, well, since then, we have been exporting cashew before that, but this year, with the closure of borders and the flights because of the pandemic, Guinea-Bissau, unfortunately, has been suffering under this situation. So our cashew is there stocked up, and there is no way of selling it. So we want to say that we are going to continue to pressurize the government to pay up the community levy so that the parliament can function and the commission can function. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is the work we are doing, and really we are making an effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I really want to call on the Secretary General to take note of that, because we have always had this issue of Guinea-Bissau not paying their contribution. And now that the honorable member, the fourth speaker, has indicated that in fact, indeed they actually paid in 2019, I think we should take that into consideration and ensure that the records are updated to reflect that. That's very, very important. I want to thank the member for the effort they are making in Guinea-Bissau. I thank you for the effort you are making in Guinea-Bissau. Yes, and I hope that you will continue to make that effort. Honorable Abel. Abel, you need to unmute. You need to unmute.
Il est allumé? Vous m'entendez? D'accord. D'accord. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. So I thank you, as I said a short while ago, and to thank also the commission that brought the referral, that is the president of the commission, regarding the community levy. What we are emphasizing is that this referral is very important, on the understanding that the community levy is the fundamental of the budget of the commission. That is the ECOWAS Commission. So if there is no income, that will create difficulties for us. So I just want to thank the commission that did this work of, let's say, piling the list and that I agree with the recommendations that have been drafted by the committee, and also to add that I would wish that they should appear in the country reports when we go back. That is the next session when we shall attend. So an emphasis should be placed on this report, and the country reports where the delegations are going to present should capture the situation of the country, and then the country report should clarify if there are any arrears for any country and what are the mechanisms to put in place so that the community levy can be collected and transferred, so that the commission will receive the funds to promote the interest of the community. So I thank the commission, and I abide fully by the recommendations. And once again, congratulations for this exercise, the first in the series, but I think we've been successful. So, Honorable Speaker, thank you, and thank all of our colleagues who discussed the issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any observation?
English interpretation.
Issues? Any other observation? I just want to remind honorable members that payment of the community levy is the engine for our operations as a community parliament, because that's the only sure source of getting revenue to fund our programs. As such, it is very, very important for honorable members to take it very seriously and to ensure that all our respective governments are in full compliance. We know that these are difficult situations, but it is also our responsibility as members of parliament to ensure that these payments are made. I therefore call on every one of us to make it a point of duty when we return home to ensure that starting next week, let us take it as a project to ensure that community levies are paid, whatever the situation is. Please, honorable members. With those, anybody else want to make a, okay, Honorable Veronica Sise.
Thank you very much, Speaker. And I want to congratulate you again and congratulate all of my friends, colleague members of Parliament for being there up to this time after this pandemic. I want to thank God for that, because we are all alive, and we hope and pray we'll meet again wherein we touch each other, because this time is very new to talk in this type of meeting, at this type of meeting. It is very new for some of us, but thank God for that. And talking about the levy, yes, it is the engine of the ECOWAS, but considering the present situation, it's really, really disturbing the economy of the country, of the particular states. And I think I want to go with Mahama, the suggestion that he made. People might have problems in their own states, especially when Honorable said their cocoa has been stocked and their commodities have been stocked. Because of this, there's no transportation. Right? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or flights. Like for Sierra Leone, it's only a few days that they have lifted the ban for flights. So that has stopped the economy. Even the investors that help us to build our states so that we can have these monies to pay our levies.
So it is good for all to give the reports at the next session, so that you will really know what's the problem of not paying, because those are areas that you need to pay, because like what you likely said, it is the engine, and it helps also carry the work of the ECOWAS. So with that, I want to ask the honorable members or the states that have not paid yet their levy, make sure when they go back, they try to find ways and means so that they can get these levies paid. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Veronica Sise. Any more contribution to these two items? Honorable Ibrahim, you want to say something?
Oh, Mr. Speaker, he has not yet been sworn in.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's the Ibrahim Yara.
So, with that, honorable members, without any more observations, the draft report of the Joint Committee on Macroeconomic Policy and Economic Research, Committee on Administration, Finance and Budget, Committee on Health, and consideration of the request from the President of the ECOWAS Commission for the assistance of the implementation of the ECOWAS Protocol on the Community Levy, I hereby. So we come back now to Honorable Ibrahim Yara for the swearing in. Can SG please proceed with that?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have Honorable Ibrahim Yara of Mali, who is to take oath. Honorable Ibrahim Yara, if you are connected, please unmute and show your video, raise your hand, and then swear the oath.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Go ahead. Allez-y.
I, the undersigned representative of the Community Parliament, declare on my honor that I will faithfully serve the interests of the peoples of the community, and that I will not submit to any direct or indirect pressure from any member state or group.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Yara. Congratulations. And on behalf, on my behalf, and on behalf of ECOWAS Parliament, I congratulate you on your entry to the Community Parliament. You can contact your head of delegation and the General Secretariat of Parliament to assign you to the various standing committees to exercise in accordance with the oath you have just taken. AOB. Honorable, before giving you the floor for other matters, I remind you that under this heading, we stated of the establishment of the Parliamentary Network on Gender Equality and Investment in Agriculture, especially the registration of new members, the presentation of the constraint of the network and the program of activities of the network. You will recall that the network was started at the end of last legislature and Honorable Vilain Abdullahi as its head. Our partners for work at the International Institute for Sustainable Development, IISD. I give the floor to Chairman of the network, Honorable Abdullah Bilay, to refresh us a bit. Then our partners at IISD will make a brief introduction of the partnership and its planned prospects. Honorable Bilay, please.
Bonjour.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all.
Allô?
Are you hearing me?
Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
His name is Ibrahim Yara.
Good morning.
Which country? Which country? He's a Mali, no? He's a Mali.
Hello?
It's Mali, yes.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Vous dire que c'est un...
Speaker, dear colleagues, it's an honor for me to take the floor in order to network on equal opportunities in agriculture sector, of which I am the head. I want to take the opportunity to introduce also our partners in the course of our activities. This opportunity would help us to participate with them virtually, I should say, to this welcome. I'm talking about the FAO, the International Institute for Sustainable Development, and Oxfam. Just to recall, Mr. Speaker, the network of investment in agriculture was created in December 2018 in the margins of the ordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament with the support of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Institute of Sustainable Development, and Oxfam.
Are you sure?
As you are well aware, and aware of the crucial role that members of parliament should play to contribute to the development of their countries, the ECOWAS Parliament recognize that fact and make the commitment of inequality between men and women, so as development. And as parliamentarians, we need to ensure that investment in the agricultural sector does contribute to job creation, access to markets, and without affecting the smallholder farmers. And we know that if that happens, this will perpetuate gender inequality. So I'm happy to bring to your knowledge that this parliamentary network is to provide a space for dialogue so that we can for equality in that area, so that we should have this gender equality in the area of agriculture and food security. This network
engagé sur des problématiques critiques et de définir des priorités régionales.
An opportunity to get committed to the burning issue of food security in the region. And our vision are clearly defined. Dear colleagues, this historic, extraordinary session, even though it's done via video conference, gives us the opportunity to organize in the margins of the parliamentary so that they can give us a hint about their activities, their mandates and projects that we can do together for the benefit of our people. And for this, I will cordially invite you to follow with rapt attention. Follow with rapt attention, I said, the presentation that will be made in a few minutes by our partners. And in conclusion, I'd like to urge my colleagues that want to register to join the network of parliamentarians on equality of gender equality, culture, and security. Therefore, to really follow the normal. I'd like to finish by thanking the pay a tribute to the Secretary General, the Director of Parliamentary Affairs, and all our experts for their support. I thank you. The representative of our donors, Mrs. Tako, I want you to speak to my colleagues with the permission of the Speaker, of course.
Yes,
His Excellency is Sidi Tunis.
Ce qu'il faut faire, juste phrase.
Oui, j'ai mis ça. Please add honorable Ibrahim.
Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Son Excellence Sidi Mohamed Tunis, président du Parlement de la CEDEAO, Honorable
His Excellency Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Honorable Abdoulaye Bilan, Chair of the meeting on the equality, gender equality and investment, members of Parliament, members of this network. This is a report in terms of food security and nutrition in the world.
2019, près d'une personne sur 10 dans le monde.
This is done by we know that many people are exposed to serious food insecurity, and Africa is far away from achieving sustainable development in this area. This situation is so concerning because the situation can worsen. Data available shows that food insecurity, either it's moderate or acute, is increasing in the world, especially in the ECOWAS region. We are convinced that we need to have conscious and sustained efforts in terms of investment in agriculture and food chains will help our infrastructure. And then in food and agriculture, we need to turn our attention to attaining the SDGs. It is in this perspective that the FAO, National Institute for Sustainable Development, and Oxfam, we have been able to combine our comparative advantages to support the parliamentarians of ECOWAS to support you on gender equality in favor of having a legislation in this area. We want to thank the Secretariat for what is being done and the confidence you have in us. Thank you. My colleague Francis will go ahead with the presentation proper. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mais il s'est présenté comme Yara, non? Ou bien?
Okay, can we hear Francine?
Remember the guy name?
Comme si.
Francine?
No. You know they use one screen.
Yes.
All of them.
Okay.
They use one screen. So it's not the only one. From Mali, all of them are there.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I can.
So it's a person
you.
there. Right. If I make mistake.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
I have to crop that.
You remove the name.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
There's one TV, all of them are using.
Sidi Tunis, members of Parliament.
The five of them.
I'm really happy to talk to you today. I'd like to thank my colleagues, Mrs. Dako from FAO, for our presentation. I also want to say that countries of ECOWAS are supposed to apply inclusive agricultural system so as to increase chain of values to attain our objectives. ECOWAS Parliament recognizes the fact that we need to have gender equality in the sector. And these decisions are a major component of building a just society and to have good measures for which ECOWAS countries are very active. The network that was created would be working on such a commitment so that we can have a space for dialogue, as Honorable Villan has said. We believe that there is going to be sustained discussion on the best practices in promoting gender equality and to have responsible investment in agriculture and food security. And all of these must be consistent with the SDGs and the commitment that have been made in terms of gender equality. So I'm going to go ahead with the presentation. Well, of course, we can have a Q&A at the end of it. As the Honorable said, we've had a lot of discussions with members of the ECOWAS Parliament on this issue. What was understood, what we agreed upon is the issue of its objective and the vision. The vision, indeed, is to foster in ECOWAS member states inclusive and gender equitable agricultural investment in ECOWAS countries conducive to food and nutrition security and poverty reduction. The objective being to that ECOWAS parliamentarians needed to have knowledge and skills to advocate for gender equitable agricultural investment and influence policy processes at the local, national, and regional levels. And finally, its mission is to contribute at the regional and country levels
stratégique, notamment avec la commission de la CEDEAO,
by maintaining policy dialogue and forming alliance with the ECOWAS Commission, working with the universities and other agencies. And we believe that all these will be done to engage on effective legislation and policies so that we can have landmark legislation on this issue. Mission. We were able to bring out some of the issues. We need to be able to promote permanent high-level dialogue, as I've said, especially through meetings, face-to-face meetings, but this time around we are having a meeting via technology. Now we have the opportunity of working online together. This also a request from parliamentarians to be able to develop tools, be able to build the capacity of members of parliament and working with key partners for them to better understand and address gender issues in policy processes. Well, the capacities are developed by these three institutions, and this is done through the UN, where this is a forum of dialogue and training. We were also asked to give relevant knowledge product, practical knowledge to parliamentarians, and to bridge the gap inadequacies in capacity development were developed with members of the network. The network, as I've said, was set up. These are members, those people, you know them very well, they are your members. I hope some of them are in the hall. I want to indicate briefly that we talk about the structures we have in this network. You have a bureau, you have a secretariat, and an advisory group. It was decided that the network will be hosted at the seat of parliament, simply because this is a parliamentary network. Excuse me, please, says the speaker. Now, let me highlight some of the activities that have been identified for each of the structures, and the missions should be taken into account when you are going to have the constitutive act of the network. The Bureau has a mandate to organize and conduct meetings for members. The Bureau has the possibility to draw up activity. We should give guidance to advisory group, implement approved programs and activities of members, evaluate approved activities and programs of members, and liaise with partners and donors for resource mobilization. It will be supported, this bill will be supported by a secretariat, which will be based at the ECOWAS Parliament seat, with a view to providing assistance to the Bureau of the network and facilitate implementation of the network activities. Finally, there is an advisory group which was decided. This was constituted by the ISSD in conjunction with the FAO and Oxfam as the mandate to mobilize resources for successful implementation of programs and activities of the network members, provide technical support in design of projects and programs, implementation of these programs and projects, monitor and evaluation of approved projects and program of members, and capacity building and training of members, and development of tools as I indicated earlier on. They have to be practical tools. Tools by way of training also will be done. She is a partner from Oxfam to pursue the presentation. We are available during the QA period to reply to any question. Azara, you have the floor. My name is Azara Sanogo. I'm at the regional office of Oxfam. I will continue with the presentation to say that this networking, all parliamentarians who are interested in taking part in the network to submit their names, their addresses as soon as possible. And later on, we are going to circulate the constitution of this network among the members, and in the months to come, we will be informing you about the formalization of it. With a few activities taking place. For example, in Rwanda, there was South-South exchange between ECOWAS members of parliament and those of Rwanda. There was also an inter-regional policy dialogue with parliamentarians of the Francophonie Union. 2020 will be a pilot year whereby country activities will be conducted at 3 levels, as my colleague has already. We are going to support the network, actually, in terms of interparliamentary facilitation, working in terms of country-level dialogues. We are also going to work in terms of mainstreaming gender in development programs, and then working in terms of food and agricultural development. We're, as a consultative, as an advisory group, we're going to help in capacity of members of parliament at the national level, especially with the issue relating to equitable agricultural investment based on the countries such as Rwanda and other countries as well, in terms of legislature and processes that are linked to gender and land issues. Furthermore, in conjunction members of this network, we're going to share the good practices aimed at promoting more equitable investments in favor of men and women. We said we are going to make sure that parliamentarians should be able to make their voices heard so as to mainstream gender into their response with regards to pandemic, so that this pandemic will not exacerbate women. The issues on which they can advocate so as to facilitate the interaction between the parliamentarians, we are going to activate a virtual policy dialogue platform using various tools. The first one will be through WhatsApp network. Parliamentarians who are members to the addresses that you're going to see on this screen at the end of this meeting, or to Mr. Senghor. It is in English and in French. And in these WhatsApp groups, we will initiate discussions on what is happening in the countries, how the response is being carried out, and how the parliamentarians can key in into what is being done to ensure that gender equality is still being addressed. We also have a virtual dialogue, organize webinars so as to get support of the impact, the negative impact we have on agriculture in West Africa. We are hoping to organize 2 webinars, one per month. We did one on the response of parliamentarians on the impact of COVID-19 on gender. We want to really promote gender equality. In addition, we will develop it's already in our plan of action. Here you are. This is the list of the FAO, IISD, and Oxfam. So from these people, you could get information how the network functions, and we will be happy to give back the floor to you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. This, in a nutshell, is the presentation that I want to give you.
J'allais dire enrichi par.
And this was enriched by the presentation from Oxfam, and then IISD and FAO. I'm at your disposal, Mr. Speaker. Honorable CD.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Interpreter.
On est à votre disposition. Nous avons terminé la présentation. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, we are at your disposal, sir. We are finished with our own presentation. Thank you for your kind attention. We're at your disposal, sir.
I thank the members and the partners network. I invite the chairman and the general secretary of parliament to take the necessary steps for the operationalization of the network.
Yes, I've seen it.
Honorable members, still under AOBP, permit me to give the floor to MPs who wish to intervene.
Honorable Speaker?
Yes, Honorable Edwin Snow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, dear colleagues. Mr. Speaker, taking into consideration the growing political and security situation in our region, and in consideration of the Supplementary Act, Article 25, which talks about the decision-making bodies and organs of the Parliament, taking into consideration Count 3 on functions, F7 and 8, emergency powers. Mr. Speaker, I think it would be but prudent that this Parliament take into consideration the growing political and security situation in the region, so that the Bureau can invoke its emergency powers, so that the Committee on Political Affairs, Peace and Security, as well as the Committee on Judiciary and Civil Rights, work along with the administration and the Bureau in intervening in the growing political situation in the region. I think our next session is not yet scheduled, and to leave a huge vacuum during this period will just be detrimental. Listening to the President's speech this morning and know the realities in the region, I think if the Bureau could invoke its emergency powers so that the two committees, legal and political affairs, will work along with the Bureau in intervening in this growing political situation, I think it would be a good idea for the Speaker, before the Parliament. So if you could entertain a motion, Mr. Speaker, I would move that the emergency power be invoked by this body to the Bureau, so that the committees in charge will work along.
No motion yet. No motion yet. No motion yet. No motion.
We can debate the subject.
But what we are talking about is very, very important. We have actually been discussing it at our Bureau meetings. We are also very much concerned about the situation in the sub-region, the political situation in the sub-region. And I want to assure you that as soon as it is possible, we'll send a delegation to some of these countries, including Guinea, Conakry. In fact, almost all the countries where elections are going to be held. Because we want to ensure that we send in our team to begin dialogue with both the government and that's definitely on our agenda for the Bureau. So be assured we are on top of the situation. It's the circumstances, especially the air travel, the protocols and everything that we have been looking at, and we are going to take that into consideration very seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable Dan.
Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Bai is free already.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bias.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I agree with all what you have said, but I cannot agree more than what Honorable Snow has said. We agree that putting delegations together to visit physically these places is imminent, but we will organize them no sooner as the situation permits. But for now, I want to agree with Honorable Snow that we start the conversation. We have to lay the platform and prepare the stage. I know doing things through link is at times challenging, but definitely we want to request from you that you encourage the Secretariat to facilitate a platform where the conversation will start, at least first by the two committees and with the facilitation of the Bureau and the Secretariat. But let us don't wait. I don't know when it will be physically feasible for us to visit these places. Let us start the conversation now. That's all I wanted to add, and thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Is the first deputy speaker around? Is the first deputy speaker around? Is still around? The first deputy speaker still around.
Yes, sir.
All right. Honorable First Deputy Speaker, you just heard from our two colleagues.
Hello?
Both of them are from the Committee on Political Affairs, concerned about the political situation in our sub-region. Informing them that we have been discussing it already, but they want to start a conversation. So, may I have the permission of the Bureau right now to give the Secretariat the permission to start conversation with the two committees?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think it's onerous on us, and then very important that such conversation commence. It's in the interest of our own sub-region. Injury to one is injury to all. They are in need, and this is the moment they require our assistance most. So I think there's nothing bad about it, but I want to advise that the security of those personnel and every person that going to should also be of paramount importance. We shouldn't take things for granted. Mali has long been on the front runner of instability, including the insurgency there. Should be something of more concern. So I suggest the conversation should commence, but any person or group of persons that are going to be sent to Mali for this, there should be a very tight security for them to help them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable First Deputy Speaker. May I have Honorable Sani, is he around? From Niger. Second Deputy Speaker.
Présentation des rapports. Examen de la requête.
Honorable Sani. Honorable Asholi, are you around?
Asholi est allé à la toilette. Il s'est levé pour la toilette, pardon.
He's gone to the washroom. He has gone to the washroom. He was around.
Honorable Pinto. Honorable Ajia Pinto, can I hear from you, please?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Also, there's interference, please.
Very well. They're doing all doing well.
Yes, just go ahead. Go ahead.
Please, we want to call on this organization that we have received information on water to have the translation into Portuguese, because about 90% of our population work in these areas, and because of COVID-19, radio information on COVID and so on, they only use two languages. There's no Portuguese. So that our organization should introduce Portuguese for Guinea-Bissau and Cabo Verde.
Before which one?
So we are in agreement with Honorable Villan's intervention. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, Honorable Pinto, there is also a suggestion on the floor about starting conversation concerning the political situation in our country.
I decided to leave it so that we just hang like paper. You know, I can't these are headlines. Just put it out. Less low payment. Less, we will not add low. Just
payment. Start conversation, but you as a bureau member, I just wanted your intervention. Was it okay with you?
Non, j'ai dit, il faut laisser l'eau.
En tant que paiement du prélèvement communautaire.
Paiement, c'est comme si c'est le gros titre là.
Oui,
on fait sortir pour le move at times the articles.
On ne fait pas headline.
Mais peut-être, ok, si on peut ajouter ces secondes phrases.
Si on enlève ça, on dit paiement du prélèvement communautaire.
Thank you very much.
We have to discuss seriously about the security in our region because there are many problems we have to. And there are many problems going on, so we have to set up a committee to examine this, especially in our countries like Mali and others. There are a few problems about the security and the population. So we are in agreement. We are in full agreement.
Thank you very much. Is Honorable Asoli back?
Et il faut changer tout ça là aussi. Qu'il soit en français.
Non, mais ça c'est bon.
Honorable Asoli s'est absenté un tout petit peu.
Yeah, that's why we put in French only.
Non, ça c'est bon.
No, Son Excellence.
Non, c'est bon. Honorable Speaker, c'est bon. Speaker. On va laisser ça.
On va laisser, okay. Oui. No change. Okay.
There's no need this one.
Okay. At least I have.
Non, Excellence, il faut laisser.
Can I hear on this particular issue?
Okay.
Yes, Honorable Secretary.
Look, this is E or E?
This is E.
Is E not
Merci.
Sorry? Is this that O is E?
Honorable Speaker, thank you.
Okay.
First of all, let me commend the initiative of our members for the Committee on Agriculture, which made a presentation for us to know the network. Now, let's look at the issue of security, because as you are aware, in Burkina, and also in Mali and Niger, we have more problems than COVID. So, within our parliament, we are examining the issues, and we are acting in such a way that our parliament should support those three countries, because we have elections in a number of countries. And the issue that arise is that whether these elections can even take place. I think some of them in November and so on and so forth. So I'm appealing to the parliament so that we can carry out a reflection of the insecurity in our sub-region, because as it has been stated, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you have to be on the lookout. So we have to support each other. Now, let me commend the outgoing MPs. Well, life is like that. So we hope we will see them again in different circumstances. So on our behalf, we are talking about integration. This integration should start with us, the MPs, that is those who are here, those who have just left us. And also we have to welcome those who have just been sworn in into the ECOWAS Parliament, so that all of us can continue on the same band and then promote integration of our populations, which has to go through the MPs. So I'm appealing to our new colleagues so that together we can promote our integration that is among the population, because you know the states are the population, and then MPs are closer to the populations. So with the MPs we will be able to achieve our objectives. And also I wish sound health to those, or speedy recovery for those who are unfortunately healthily challenged. So all of our countries need some salvation. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Number 081.
Zéro.
Eight.
Ouais, mais if
Thank
you
you very
want
much, Mr. Speaker.
234.
My contribution is in
And the way I said
relation
it,
to the proposal
go to the WhatsApp.
from Honorable Snow, which you have put to some discussion. I think the reality, of course, is that you cannot send a mission out to any country. But as a committee, it should be possible to monitor the situation in the various countries, especially this year when we have elections coming up in different countries, so that the committee can report back to the Parliament, assuming that we next going to have a virtual session, what the issues are in the various countries, what the developments are, and also given the fact that as a Parliament, we have quite a reasonable network of members of Parliament from the various countries who are delegates to the ECOWAS Parliament, and ex-members of Parliament who have been members of the ECOWAS Parliament, who serve as a network from which the committee can tap into for information, for the opportunity to even engage in dialogue, also virtually, so that we can report back to Parliament as and when we next have a session. I believe that that can take place and feed into the work that you are already doing as a bureau, since you often meet virtually and then you discuss the situations in the various countries. Your actual tool for this work is the political committee. And I think that it will be good that you use that tool. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Secretary General, I want that we must start conversations on the said issue with the two committees. Thank you very much. Any other item under AOB? Anybody wants to make a comment under AOB? This time under AOB, please don't take us back.
Monsieur le Président.
Ouais, Vilan.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. The situation, political, economic and social situation in our region is of great concern. So before going into details, let me thank all colleagues for the attention they have expressed for us to set up a network. And they have the same understanding with us and are defending the future of the network, so that in paying tribute to the colleagues who are outgoing, they should continue to work for our community, so that in their respective countries, even if they are no longer members of our parliament, but at the level of the local parliament, they should continue to integrate the activities of the parliament. Honorable Speaker, I want to suggest that our parliament should adopt a motion to encourage the commission, the ECOWAS Commission, through the permanent representative in Mali, who has really invested a lot in mediation and the search for solution to the let's say, configured crisis in Mali. It's linked to the COVID-19, of course, is the COVID-19 that is bringing all this, and then security problems. So if today the Parliament, aware of what has been done on behalf of the community by the permanent representatives of the Commission, who has been working closely with the United Nations, with the African Union, with the French-speaking community. So it's very possible that we can adopt a motion of encouragement to the Commission.
Thank you.
Likewise, to all the Mali populations, we should send them a message expressing our concern and our will to call them to reason, to dialogue, peace, so that they overcome the crisis that is reigning in the country. Thirdly, it's true that travel is still limited. Well, but we are aware that heads of state, 5 of them were there recently, and that heads of state delegation will report to all the governments at an extraordinary meeting next Monday. They should be congratulated by the parliament because that delegation by the president, especially those who are going to meet in the extraordinary session, have acted according to the African values and traditions. That is, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you have to assist. And heads of state have recalled the sacrosanct principles that take account of the legalities linked with presidential elections. They have been discussing, talking to other stakeholders, and of course, important recommendations will be presented to the community. So I think our parliament should really commend that initiative and encourage them. Sorry, we lost him. And then looking at COVID and its consequences, that the parliament should make a special effort, because for a few months now, our activities have slowed down, and the economies normally would feed our budgets, and then the economy should help the parliament to ensure that what we are giving to the different countries to help the MPs to promote the activities in each country as a group of parliamentarians, that should be increased to ensure that we as parliamentarians on behalf of the ECOWAS should really undertake initiatives that will be profitable. So if we observe economies of scales and promote activities, you have to raise a little bit the level of the amounts that are, let's say, given to the various groups. Now, let me pay tribute to Nigeria. Sorry, he's off. So I'm encouraging the parliament to think about every factor that has slowed down the adoption of the single currency for our community. So once again, I commend all our comrades that are encouraged to be very vigilant in these circumstances.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we are almost approaching 4 hours since we started. So for every member taking the floor now, I'll only give you 2 minutes. Abel, please. 2 minutes.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I want to subscribe fully to the proposal made by Honorable Snow as regards our participation or involvement and adoption of a resolution in the conflict that is occurring in our sub-region where elections are scheduled to be held. We have to commend the initiative taken by the heads of state, and it's in this direction that we are encouraging to issue instructions to the General Secretariat so that an mission comprising the legal and political committees to get together so that they can assist us to look for reconciliation where elections are scheduled to be held this year. Thank you once again. So we support every initiative so that our parliament can move forward. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Can I hear from Bida, Honorable Bida?
Merci beaucoup, Président.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. First of all, I greet you and I greet all those who have taken the floor before me on this idea of Honorable Snow. And as we are working as a parliament,
de voir la possibilité que nous puissions reporter.
We should consider the possibility of extending this meeting until Monday evening so that the two committees can meet and then they can meet Monday morning and then Monday afternoon. The plenary will authorize them to present their report. So maybe we don't have any scheduled meeting, so I think there is no other opportunity to authorize the committees, and in that case we can validate their report and have a roadmap for what can be done to overcome the security difficulties. So I support the idea, and I suggest that if we can postpone this meeting until Monday, that is, so that the two committees can meet tomorrow or Monday morning, and then they can produce a report that we can adopt Monday afternoon, so that we can capture their reports. So thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. May I hear from Honorable Hodi?
Outside edge.
Bonjour.
Honorable Hodi, yeah, go ahead.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me support also my colleagues who have spoken about the need to accompany or to move together with the efforts that the heads of state are making to combat insecurity. Apart from that, I want to congratulate, if you can send us the text of the president of the ECOWAS Commission and then the commissioners and then our partners who are creating the parliamentary network. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And we thank you also for a successful meeting.
Thank you. May I hear from Honorable Malispe?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to repeat all that has been said, but I also support the move by Honorable Snow. But I want to say that when we embark upon it right now, we should make sure that we have a fruitful ending to whatever we do. Let it not end with merely a report being written and nothing gets done after the report is written. That's all I wish to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll have the last person, Honorable Edwin Snow, again.
Thank you, Speaker. Just real quick in my 2 minutes. I thought we would have entertained a motion on the resolution so that the Secretary could take note, but I'll give to your wisdom, the way you handle it. The other 2 issues, Mr. Speaker, I attended the ASC as was designated by you, and I know that the Commission was able to send by DHL computers to all AFC members to continue the work, since we've been doing a lot of work online. In the current budget of the Parliament, we have monies there for MPs to have the computers. So I was thinking if the administration We'll proceed with the process and then shape by DHL to the various MPs, to all of us, the MPs, so that we can have our computers to enhance our work. The other thing is, Mr. Speaker, on the visibility fund, it's also in the approved budget, the operational budget of the Parliament. I thought if we gave the instructions so that the different delegations can receive that money and begin to do some awareness from the ECOWAS Parliament, instead of the ECOWAS Parliament, as regards the fight against the COVID-19. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will, the Secretary General has taken oath. We will discuss both issues of the computer and the visibility form. And then once I get it from the Secretary General, I will bring it to the attention of the Bureau. Then we will take a decision on that. Honorable agenda of the plenary sitting of today, Saturday, 25th July of 2020, second extraordinary session has been exhausted. In line with the provisions of Article 27(2)(e) of the Act on the enhancement of the powers of the ECOWAS Parliament, I quote, extraordinary sessions are closed once the agenda is exhausted. I now deliver my address, my closing address. Mr. President, honorable members, Auditor General of ECOWAS Parliament, staff of ECOWAS Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, it is deep sense of delight and fulfillment that I address to you today, being the last day of our deliberations at the 2020 second extraordinary session. The session held virtually via Zoom and admittedly recorded significant success despite obvious limitations associated with connectivity, as well as the inability for us to have physical contacts and interaction. As politicians, we are always able to achieve much when we meet physically, talk, persuade, convince, and ultimately influence opinions. That was not to be due to our efforts at containing the spread of the coronavirus. We have recorded success to the extent that the session has achieved its set objectives. The referrals were successfully handled. I am adequately satisfied with the participation of members of Parliament in the technical discussions leading to the conclusions of Parliament's advisory opinion. The work members have done during this short period of the session, despite identified limitations associated with virtual meetings, have demonstrated their total commitment to the ideas of our integration. Colleagues have indeed proved that they are fellow stakeholders in the ECOWAS project, and they are dependable allies of the people they represent. Dear colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me, on your behalf, express our profound gratitude to the President of the ECOWAS Commission, His Excellency Dr. Jean-Claude Hassebro, and his team of competent commissioners and technocrats for the collaboration between our two important institutions. Since the inception of the Parliament, our collaboration with the Commission has grown wider, covering virtually all areas associated with the integration, process. Ours is a symbiotic relationship. Legislation, unfortunately, like I noted in my address, our usual scheduled activities for the year have yet to commence. Our greatest impediment is the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic, which has ravaged the world. Meanwhile, there is so much work to be done out there. Our people are wallowing in poverty, which has further been compounded by the downward trend in economic activities occasioned by the prevailing situation. The world, especially our sub-region, is under the threat of hunger. Even though we are in the rainy season, restrictions occasioned by the pandemic make farming activities difficult. As parliamentarians, we must fashion out a way of proposing cushioning effects. There is no doubt that the remaining part of 2020 and early 2021 will be highly challenging, both economically and socially. Ours is to collaborate with our governments, both economically, both at national and regional levels, to ensure that we protect the interests of our people and work towards easing their affairs in this anticipated difficult period. There is no doubt that we have the capacity to play that role, but we must remain committed and dedicated. We must remain fast and always put the interests of the people above self-interest. We must be prepared to face some little inconveniences in our daily routine just to serve our people, at least at these highly unprecedented times. Dear colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I mean to say that one of the negative effects of the ongoing pandemic is the lack of access to medical care by our people with other ailments. Admittedly, COVID-19 is highly contagious, and everybody wants to do all within his or her power to avoid being infected. That is a natural human response to a situation like the one we find ourselves. But we are aware that several patients with other ailments are being turned back, especially where symptoms are similar to that of the coronavirus. Patients, on the other hand, have resorted to self-medication due to general reluctance to visit hospitals and consult medical personnel. Again, the fear of getting infected. I am afraid that at the end of the pandemic, we may be faced with a set of fatalities. Those whose deaths are a result of the virus, and those who, for fear of the virus, succumb to other ailments. It is important at this juncture to counsel on how to ensure that our people access health care facilities despite the pandemic. Our medical workers need all the protection to be able to discharge their functions. To this end, I appeal to our governments, donor organizations, and wealthy individuals to assist by providing personal protective equipment, PPEs. This will in no small measure boost the morale of the health workers and give them adequate latitude to give their best. Furthermore, all health facilities should provide for as well as social distancing while attending to patients. On their part, patients should ensure they wear face masks always, especially when visiting hospitals. They should also endeavor in their narration to doctors and avoid going to conventional hospitals when they feel COVID-19 symptoms or believe they were exposed at any point in time. These measures, if adopted, would assist significantly in mitigating fatalities during this very difficult period. Dear colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is very difficult for us to predict when the situation will improve significantly enough for the Parliament to commence its annual activities. As you are aware, several member states are easing restrictions despite rising infection rates. It is that the world is ready to coexist with the virus, pending the discovery of a vaccine or better still, a permanent cure. Major economic activities are opening up with a new normal. The aviation has designed methods of commencing business. In fact, several airports around the world, our sub-region inclusive, have reopened, especially for local operations. We are expecting that in the coming weeks, international operations may commence and air links between our member states will be restored. Only when that happens can we, as a Parliament, take another look at our activities and determine those that can be executed in the remaining part of the year. It is, however, necessary for me to point out that the resumption in flight operations leading to the completion of our activities is not a guarantee that has returned to normal. The virus is very much present and has the capacity to wreak havoc. Perhaps the world is reopened due to additional knowledge about how the virus spreads, hence leading to more knowledge about preventive measures. Should the situation permit, resume executing our programs, which I hope will be soon, we will devise our own internal preventive mechanism in addition to what is already in place. Much as we desire to serve our people, we are determined to ensure that we protect the individual members of Parliament from likely infection in the course of discharging their community responsibilities. I pledge to do the needful in that regard. Dear colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we draw the curtains of the 2020 second extraordinary session, let me ask you that our duty as community parliamentarians is not restricted to when we hold meetings or other activities. We remain community members of Parliament wherever we find ourselves. We should therefore endeavor to push the ideals of ECOWAS at all times and all places. While thanking all members for sparing time to action, I also wish to thank the Secretary General, directors, and all staff of Parliament, as well as service providers, for making this virtual session a success. I therefore declare this 2020 second extraordinary session closed. Thank you and God bless. Merci beaucoup. You have to unmute yourself to give me an applause.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Bye.
Thank you.